What's up everyone, it's Kadi with Money Vesting. In this video, we are going to be talking about a brand new industry, which I do believe has a lot of potential moving forward. And there are several reports that do suggest that over the next 7 years, the compounded annual growth rate for this addressable market is going to grow substantially. So it's not artificial intelligence, it's not AI. We've been talking about this AI boom for quite some time, but this is going to be a little bit different. And I'm going to be going over some really interesting data and share my personal experience with this as well. So hope you guys enjoy it, find it helpful. If you do, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're just joining us for the first time. And the link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you're interested in joining us. We'd love to have you on board. We've got a little bit over 3,700 members. The first week of the month is here. The best time to join. So links are going to be down below if you're interested in joining. So the sector or the market that we are talking about in this video is going to be ed tech, right? It's going to be digital education. And digital education innovatively uses digital technologies and tools during learning or teaching and is specifically known as technology enhanced learning or TEL, or also it's known as ed tech or educational with technology. And the expected market size, as you'll notice in 2019, it was a little bit over $12.6 billion. And this is expected to 10x to $136 billion by 2030 with a compounded annual growth rate of over 25%. That is a pretty substantial growth rate. And I'll go over some of the reasons why I think that there is going to be substantial growth for this industry because of college education. And I'm not, this is going to be very debatable, right? I mean, we can go back and forth all day long whether a college education is worth the price or the tuition or not. It certainly was for me. I mean, I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if it weren't for the college education. So I'm very fortunate enough to actually go to college, get a university education, and actually be able to connect, network with all my professors and friends, and just have that network with the university that I was established with. But over time, as we have seen the cost of education go up, that's one of the biggest drawbacks that I had. I was like, yes, I had all the pros. Yes, I had, fantastic education, great networking, all that stuff. But the price at which all that came at was pretty steep, right? So my university education costed a little bit over $100,000. I took on student loans. We know that college debt is a pretty big problem in the US. And if you take a look at average college tuition, private 4-year is at over $32,700. And public 4-year college is over $21,000. And there's another report which pretty much suggests that private tuition per year is at almost $40,000 and public out of state at $22,900. So unless you're going to a public school in state, which is only $10,000 $400 per year, which is again, multiplied by 4-year college is going to be $40,000. That's not including for room and board, right? It's only for tuition. Public out of state, of course, that's going to be 23 times 4. That's over north of $80,000. And not even consider if you're going into a private university, 40,000 times 4, that's $160,000 is going to be just the tuition alone, not to mention the room and board. And then you combine that with let's say some of the top schools, right? Ivy League and whatnot. And you can be paying north of $250,000. Now, again, I think there's has to be distinction because definitely there's a lot of specialty schools. I mean, if you're going to school to become a doctor, a surgeon, those are things that, yes, you have to actually be certified and get a license. But I think a lot of the administrative jobs, a lot of engineering jobs, a lot of technology related jobs, I think a lot of stuff, a lot of things, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree, a lot of things that you can actually learn online for literally 1/100th of the cost, if not for free. I mean, you can learn everything you need to learn from YouTube. There's a lot of ed tech websites, a lot of digital technology websites where not only people, but actual professors from universities post their courses online for everyone to take, whether it's Skillshare, whether it's Coursera, whether it is Chegg, whether it is LinkedIn. There's a lot of places where you can find free courses on various different subjects, a lot, economics, finance, technology, coding, right? I mean, the list goes on and on. So unless, of course, it's a specialty school where you're actually going in to learn a specific skill, for example, or you are going in to become, plumber or a carpenter, which is, of course, there's trade schools for that. But then, of course, if you're looking at becoming a doctor, surgeon, some of those things, then yes, you need certain licenses and certificates. But I'm talking about more general education. I think it's going to be more pivoting a little bit away from that traditional 4-year university style over to more ed tech as years go by. Because if you can see the rising cost of college in the US, the college tuition and fees has increased by over 1,200%, when inflation since 1980 is only up 236%, right? It just, you shake your head because you're like, why is college tuition increasing by over 1,200% at that time when inflation's only up 236%, right? So the rising cost of tuition alone, or colleges alone, is a pretty substantial reason in itself for somebody to kind of really debate whether it's even worth going or not, or if you can find that information. Now, again, if you compare this to, let's say, 1980s, right, we didn't have this much technology, right? 50 years ago, 40 years ago, we didn't have access to so much data. We didn't have access to all this information available for free. We didn't have access to all these places that we can go to and find information for ourselves. And again, this is not a debate on whether, digital education versus college experience is which one has a pro or con, because they both have pros and cons, right? So I'm not going to get into that debate because, like I said, they both have pros and cons, but the statistics do suggest that traditional university education is somewhat declining, because you can see that historical college enrollment from 2010 have been coming down. I mean, we have on a net basis people not enrolling into universities anymore, and they have come down. I mean, take a look at undergraduate, right? Undergraduate, they have come down from 18.1 million to now under 16 million enrollments, right? And total enrollments are also down from 21 million. This is from 2010. So this is not like, pandemic happened and everybody started, studying from home and enrollments were down. No, this is from 2010. And we pretty much saw some of the biggest increases in 2010 in college prices and college tuition as well. So we have been seeing a pretty substantial leveling off. Of course, the enrollments are still much higher from 2000s and 1990s, but the trend in itself in the last 11, 12 years is that the college enrollments have been coming down. Now, another thing that I might found interesting, which I think is going to be a little bit more towards digital technology and more ed tech type situation, is that there's going to be a lot of companies, and there already are a lot of companies that are hiring people that don't necessarily have a degree, right? So more workers without degrees are landing jobs. So the increasing availability of good jobs for those without a degree coincides with challenges for traditional higher education. And this right here was another report, which I don't have on me right now, but there was a whole list of companies that are now starting to hire. Apple was part of it, Netflix was part of it, Meta was part of it. There was a lot of tech companies that were hiring for employees that didn't necessarily have those traditional 4-year degrees, but they specifically were looking for skills. So there was also an Indeed survey done, which pretty much mentioned 59% of employers are considering eliminating college degree requirements for hiring, and 30% employers believe removing degree requirements would help them hire more diverse talent, and 87% of senior executives say they are not prepared to address skill gaps. And only about a third of US adult population has college degrees, which makes it harder for businesses to hire talent. So, of course, only 33% of the US population, adult population, has a college degree, but the rest 67%, even if they are looking to get a college education, of course, it becomes really difficult because the barrier to entry with the college tuition fees and everything else is just super high. And as a result, when you have access to all the free data, all the free content available as a substitute, that starts to make a lot of sense because you're saving not only on a lot of time, a lot of money, but you're getting almost as good as the skill set that you need. Of course, there's a level of practical knowledge. You're able to ask questions. There's a more sort of interactive sessions with the professors, with your classmates and whatnot. Again, this is not a debate on whether what's good and what's not, but I'm just saying that there is a possibility where ed tech and digital education starts to really take off as traditional universities start to become a little bit less appealing from a cost structure standpoint. And speaking of, endowment funds for universities have just been ballooning since 2021. So you can see that they're expected to hit over $1 trillion by 2048, 2049, over $1.1 trillion. And right now we're sitting at a little bit under, a little bit over $200 billion in the top Ivy League schools. I can't even imagine what the entire United States is in terms of the endowment funds. But, of course, it's expected to continue to rise if the enrollments continue to come in. But again, this is just a forecast. A forecast is very subject to change. And right now it is projected that it's going to increase substantially if enrollments continue to come in. So I wanted to go over some, stocks that may not be, worth looking into right now because they're too early to the game. And as I said, they are not profitable yet. They're still trying to figure out their business plan. And, take a look at Coursera, right? Revenue is consistently growing every single year. They've gone from 184 million to over $500 million, but they're not profitable yet, right? And they recently did the IPO back in 2021, so they've not been public for so super long and already down 83%, trading at a market cap of a little bit over $1.7 billion. Something that's definitely going to be on my watch list because, like I said, EdTech, digital education, this industry is expected to grow pretty well over the next decade or so. So I will be paying attention to when they turn the corner towards profitability. Same thing is going to be true for Chegg. So this is another company that I have done videos on in the past. They were actually doing really well for quite some time since 2016 all the way till 2022. They were actually up a little bit over 3,000%, and then they dropped pretty heavily as revenues really started to come down for the company. So again, revenues have been growing profitable in 2022, but very, very inconsistent in terms of profitability in the bottom line as well. So this is also going to be a company that's on my list. And I don't think Skillshare is actually a public company, but they also offer a lot of educational courses. I mean, Skillshare is actually where I'm learning a lot of things myself online right now for, when it comes to finance, macroeconomics, a lot of things with respect to technology, AI. I'm spending a lot of time on Skillshare to learn a lot of different things, and courses are available for free. I think you pay for like a yearly subscription, which is like, I think $100 or something, may not be that much. And you get access to all the courses that are available on there. So yeah, this is an industry that definitely needs to be on watch. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about EdTech and digital education. I would love to know from you guys as well. And if there's any companies that are on your radar that offer these types of services, we're happy to look into it. Again, right now, I'm not like considering buying any of these companies because they're not profitable yet. I think they're still way too early in the game. And as the industry grows, as we see a little bit of a shift away from traditional college university, away to over more digital tech and ed tech, I think there is going to be potential for this industry to keep growing. So let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? As always, if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Happy investing, and I'll see you all in the next video.